Mr. Jigar Doshi, who is the founding partner at TMSL. To join him, we have Mr. Yash Goenka, who is the associate director at TMSL. And also we have TMSL team joining along with them. So with this, can we have a huge round of applause for all of them?
Very good afternoon. Rahulji, thank you for handling the malai koftas and the paneers of the world and making people back to action. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Friends, it is a post-lunch session and we thought to make it a little more lively, and that's why we see the table here. So we would have felt and seen mock moot court and mock litigation from the court perspective or courtroom perspective, but this time what we are trying to do is a mock investigation. So please bear with the flow of the discussion. But from your friends, how many of us have actually seen or felt or been a part of the investigation from GST perspective? By raise of hands, if you can help me. All right, wonderful. This is a very good statistics for me to mock it, because I think you will feel the resemblance somewhere, because we see day in, day out. Just to start with, giving an introduction, Yash is going to be the tax head, which most of us are here. Aditi is going to be the CFO of the company. And we have two officers not known to you all yet. They will be coming into the investigation very soon. Just the first slide. We are just focusing on investigation and section 67 today, because that's the core problem statements which we keep hearing from esteemed clients like yours. Investigation is 3-space DGGI, anti-evasion, investigation wing, which mean the state authorities. The stages of the investigation is pre-investigation, during investigation, and post-investigation. Basic knowledge, nothing great about it. Now we start with the mock round, and what we will do, the pattern is basically the mock will happen, they will hold back, and I will again take the slide where I will give the information to you which will be relevant for all of us to understand. Starting with Disha Textiles Private Limited, this is the name of the entity.
अरे भरत, कंपनी की CFO रोज मर्सिडीज और BMW में आती जाती है, देखा है तूने कभी?
अरे ये तो दिशा टेक्सटाइल की मैडम है ना? अच्छा, दिशा टेक्सटाइल से याद आया, आपका एक्स का नाम भी दिशा था ना सर?
मत याद दिला, उधर तो मैं कुछ कर नहीं पाया, बट चल आज एक कंपनी को सीधा करते हैं, इन पे अपन रेड डालते हैं.
अच्छा, रेड? अरे सर, आपकी एक्स छोड़ के गई, उसमें कुछ रीजन टू बिलीव होगा, मैं मान सकता हूँ आपकी शक्ल देख के, पर इसमें रीजन टू बिलीव कहाँ पे? और वो भी रिटर्न चाहिए रहेगा सर.
रीजन टू बिलीव, वो भी राइटिंग में. ये रीजन टू बिलीव क्या होता है?
What is meant by reason to believe? That's the question which we all need to know before investigation. Is this a need for assessee like yours? Yes, section 67 starts with saying when a proper officer not below the rank of joint commissioner has reason to believe. So this is not a random statement. This is there is a depth in this. The first of all, reason to believe is not defined under GST law, and it is taking the dependency from the IPC law. To make it a little more humoristic, the reason to believe definition under IPC was made when he had a reason to believe that he has to define the reason to believe. Because if you see the definition, it says a person is said to have reason to believe a thing if he has a sufficient cause to believe that thing but not otherwise. तो इसका मतलब तो मैं नहीं समझ रहा हूँ, मैं मतलब क्या है reason to believe बता दो. But then finally we have a case, AIR case of 1971, which comes up from the income tax side. It's a Supreme Court case. It says reason to believe suggests that belief must be an honest and reasonable person. Same should be based on reasonable grounds, and it should not be suspicion, gossip, or rumors. So if the dear deputy director has her ex named Disha, or the CFO is traveling in BMW, that's not a reason to believe. The second statement we heard is the reason to believe recorded in writing? Answer again is yes. We go back to section 6710, which says that everything as far as CRPC is concerned will be relayed back to GST law under section 6710 for any case of investigation. And under CRPC, which is now BNSS, which is Bharatiya Nagrik Nyay Sanhita, that is very categorically said that the reason to believe has to be recorded in writing. Now we will say the officer will do the recording in writing. How do I come to know? Again, we go back to the BNSS and CRPC law, which says that if the applicant wants the copy of this reason to believe, he has a right to go to the commissioner and ask him that what is the reason why these investigating authorities are coming and knocking my doors. So I will not tell you all to go and ask for reason to believe on the day 1 or day 5 as well. But I will ask you, if the investigation is on for more than 5 to 6 months, and you still can't decode why these guys were here, what is the data points that they are seeking, and why I am selected as an investigatee, that is the point where I would recommend that you have all the rights to go there and check the real reason to believe, because it is supposed to be in writing. And to give some benefit, if it is not in writing, the investigation is void ab initio. So investigation goes complete end there, even if that submission cannot be given by the commissioner.
चलो 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 चलो, ये लैपटॉप सब बंद करो और ये फोन दे दो, सारे फोन किधर है आपके, और हमको डॉक्यूमेंट्स दे दो, हम जो जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांग रहे हैं वो दे दो आप।
अरे पर आप हो कौन?
हम लोग रेड डालने हैं, हम जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट वाले हैं।
अरे तो आपके पास कुछ लेटर वेटर होगा ना?
अरे विटनेस
लेटर? कौन सा लेटर?
लेटर? आपको लव लेटर चाहिए?
कोई लेटर वेटर नहीं होता, हम जो मर्जी है वो कर सकते हैं, हम ऐसे ही आए। चलो डॉक्यूमेंट्स दिखाओ आप हमें।
Documents to be obtained by the taxpayer before initiating such search proceedings. So someone is knocking your door, हम लोग उसको प्यार से मेहमान बुलाते हैं, but ये मेहमान प्यारे नहीं होते, we know that. And if they come and knock the door, what do? We should know what are we supposed to demand from them. The law very categorically says under Rule 139 that INS0 fund form has to be taken by them. Not only taken and given to you, there is an instruction in 2021 under the GST law which categorically says that this INS0 fund will be given to you. Your signatures will be obtained on this form, because without that obtaining the signature, you basically cannot start the investigation. So if they come up and they start taking your laptops or data points, your first initiation point should be, give me the INS01 form, let me sign this up for you, because that's the instruction you are supposed to follow. And by the way, the witnesses are also supposed to be mentioned and sign this INS0 form, because without witness, again, this investigation is not valid.
भैया वो डॉक्यूमेंट्स कहाँ हैं? कब से हम डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांग रहे हैं, डॉक्यूमेंट्स दे दो हमें, टाइम नहीं है हमारे पास।
अरे विटनेस कहाँ है लेकिन आपका?
अरे सर विटनेस का तो भूल ही गए, कैसे सीने
भूल गया? एक वो तुषार है ना, यूबीएस इवेंट ऑर्गेनाइज करता है तेरा दोस्त, उसको लेके उसको विटनेस बनाते हैं।
तुषार सर, बट वो विटनेस चलेगा क्या?
हाँ हाँ, किसी को भी विटनेस बना सकते हैं, अपना डिपार्टमेंट है। हाँ है विटनेस है हमारे पास।
Who can be the witness during the search proceedings? 6710 again goes back to CRPC, and there's an instruction in 21. This very clearly says the local inhabitants has to be the witnesses. You cannot have, frankly speaking guys, we have seen the drivers and the security guys being the witness in the investigation, and that is not valid. They have to have a local inhabitants because they have to be independent. They cannot be a dependent people from the department side or our side for that matter. In fact, if it's a sensitive matter, it very categorically again says that a PSU level employee or a bank employee has to come as a witness to the entire investigation. Without that, the investigation cannot start.
चलो डॉक्यूमेंट्स दे दो, 5 साल के मेरे को सारे परचेसेस दे दो और सर को सारे सेल्स दे दो।
अरे सर, अभी थोड़े दिन पहले तो आप लोग जीएसटी वाले आए थे, तभी तो मैंने पूरे 4 साल का पूरा डेटा दिया था।
अभी
थोड़े दिन पहले आप लोग आए थे।
तू कब आया था?
अरे सर, आप विक्रम, मैं बेताल, आपके सवा का जा तो मैं।
नहीं, हम लोग नहीं आए थे। कोई डॉक्यूमेंट तो दिखा हमको, कौन आया था?
हाँ वो होगा, समन्स का कॉपी होगा मेरे पास, ये देखो समन्स का कॉपी।
आप सीए हो?
हाँ।
पास हुए हो?
हाँ।
ये एसजीएसटी वाले हैं, हम सीजीएसटी वाले, डीजीजी है, एक्ट अलग है, हम दोनों साथ में कर सकते हैं, हम अलग है। चलो आप डॉक्यूमेंट्स लाके दे दो हम लोग को।
What is the recourse if another authority has initiated proceeding for the same period? Friends, just to take 30 seconds break, deviation. Anyone has felt this or sensed it? Some investigation is going on and the other authorities come and knock your doors. Even it could be not investigation but a summon, etc. Do we have seen this? Have we? Fabulous. So, do we have a recourse, sir? And what would be the recourse? Perfect. So yes, sir is very right, and there is a law behind this, sir, 62B, which very clearly says that when a proper officer under state goods and service tax or union territory has initiated any proceeding on a subject matter, no proceeding shall be initiated by the proper officer under the act on the same subject matter. So if we see the bold points, no proceeding shall be initiated, initiation पे रुक जाता है, and second on the same subject matter. That's the catch. अगर same subject matter है तो investigation नहीं चलेगा, subject matter different है तो Mehman Atiti Devo Bhava is what we have to follow.
Just to add one thing.
Yes, sir.
When the officer come, they will give the rights of an assessee. They will give one paper. They will ask that this is the right of you. being participating in this particular investigation. So this is a very important document which they will give it to you, one copy, and get the sign on that. They will tell you what is your right during the entire proceedings.
Correct.
So this is
Sir,
also been.
just sorry, whatever limited experience we have, वो right sir ऐसे आता है और ऐसे चले जाता है. वो बेचारे मेरे अकाउंटेंट वहाँ पे रहते हैं, डायरेक्टर तो अंदर रहता है, टैक्स हेड को पता ही नहीं होता क्या हुआ, वो तो ट्रैवल करके पहुँच रहा होता है और वो तो वो पेपर गया मेरे हाथ से. So 99%, forget about copies given to us as a consulting or advocate space, अंदर भी उन लोग को नहीं मिलता है, and that's where the problem comes, because that's a flip.
One funniest part is of the punch.
Of the?
Punch.
Oh.
When you do the punch nama and the punch being appointed in that entire proceeding, this is a real fun. I don't know whether you have covered that or not.
वो humor डालूंगा सर तो मेरा 20 मिनट खत्म हो जाएगा, so I could park that, but yes, it's a very valid point. And sir, sorry, let's one more point. In the 2024, there's a specific instruction which came on this point where the another authority came. So the catch is the section 2B say 62B that state authorities है, ये CGST Act है. Similarly, SGST में center के बारे में लिखा है. So what is covering here is center and state के बीच में क्या हो रहा है? What happens in center versus center? What happens in state versus state? वो एक अलग space है जहाँ पे section is not solving, and that's why the instruction comes into picture in 2024 that if this scenario comes in, please go and talk to the principal commissioner or ask them to apply to the principal commissioner. Both principal commissioner will discuss with each other who is the person going to assess or investigate further. Then only initiation can happen. Otherwise, there is a hold on the situation. We have actually seen the cases. This is one draft letter. We have masked every information here, but center versus center के बीच में था DGGI और anti-evasion में. There was an exchange of letters between them, and they decided who will be the investigating authority. It took 3 months to decide who will take the authority decision. And by the way, the client was completely prepared with the data points that point of time. वो actually welcome करने को ready थे. There is another case which is something which technically I don't really agree, but there is a case from Calcutta High Court of RP Buildcon case which very clearly says that even if audit has happened, ऑडिट भी हो चुका है तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं चलेगा. अंडर 65 जो ऑडिट हुआ है वो भी अगर हो चुका है एंड यू हैव अ ऑडिट रिपोर्ट देन इन्वेस्टिगेशन कैन नॉट हैपन. सो दैट्स वेयर मोस्ट ऑफ अस वुड हैव सीन ऑडिट रिपोर्ट्स, एंड आई कीप रिकमेंडिंग टू क्लाइंट्स प्लीज टेक द फाइनल ऑडिट रिपोर्ट फ्रॉम द डिपार्टमेंट. FAR के बिना आपका ऑडिट अधूरा है, इट्स नॉट मेकिंग सेंस. But if you have an FAR and you have an investigating authority coming your way, you can actually use this case and say, please, we are already audited. I am not technically 100% okay with this because it's just a case but not a law, but still there is a way out available. Yes, sir. Yes, Rahulji.
I have a practical experience when there was an audit going on in state of Maharashtra. There was a DGGI matter taken up in state of Punjab.
Sure.
And we convinced the DGGI to drop the matter.
Wonderful.
Because the audit is going on, anyway the matter is sub judice. So let them come to a conclusion and then you can proceed if
That's
something.
fabulous, sir. Again, it is not supported by law, but again, this kind of scenarios, and that's where I think we have to be all vigilant. It's not that everyone has to come our door. We can actually park them and we can say this is something which is happening because audits are going to happen and continuously supposed to happen. Yes?
अरे भरत, मेरे को ना सुख देखा नहीं जाता. वो CFO मर्सिडीज में आती है, अभी भी देख हम सुबह से काम करे, वो आराम से AC में बैठी है. तू कुछ कर भाई, तू कुछ कर, जा उसका स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड कर तू.
सर आप क्या चाहते हो, आपके एक्स का पूरा गुस्सा निकाल दूं मैं?
हाँ तू कर भाई, वो सुख नहीं देखा जा रहा मुझसे.
ओके. मैडम स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड करना है, चलिए.
स्टेटमेंट? कैसा स्टेटमेंट?
मैडम आपने कॉर्पोरेट गारंटी पे टैक्स भरा है?
अरे सर उस सब के बारे में मुझे इतना पता नहीं है, रुको मुझे मेरे एडवोकेट को कॉल करने दो.
आप
मैडम एडवोकेट वगैरह कुछ नहीं चलेगा. ये जो पूछ रहे साहब उसका जवाब दे दो और उनके हाँ में हाँ बोल के जल्दी फाइनल कर दो और हमको जल्दी फ्री कर दो इधर से.
Can an advocate or consultant appear for the summons on behalf of the director? Can authorized representative of the director be allowed to appear on this behalf? Relevant question for all of us. 71A, again this is a very silent killer is what I will say. There is a new law 24 में आया है, and again it says that all persons summoned under 71 shall be bound to attend either in person or by authorized representative. As such officer में direct. ये as such officer में direct I am not very happy because honestly अगर वो leeway देना था authorized representative को तो दे देना था. So now what is actually on the ground happening is if you are summoned, you are a director of the company, you are summoned, you want to have an authorized representative to appear on behalf of the summon, you have to actually plead to the officer कि मेरे को आप direct करिए कि मेरे को इनको करना है. For example, if CFO is not aware about corporate guarantee matter and she should not be, then she should plead that let the tax head be summoned and you take the summons from that perspective because he has the answers on the taxability of corporate guarantee. But 71A comes to the rescue, at least there is an option available to appear and to ask for authorized representative space. Coming to the first point, consultant or advocate can appear. There is nothing under the law which helps you to say that yes, a consultant advocate can appear. But there is a case of Nandini Satpathy. She is the ex-Orissa chief minister. The matter was very severe and serious. And that is where the case came up to all the way to Supreme Court, where they said that the accused of the offense would allow the presence of an advocate during interrogation. वो rule अभी भी चल रहा है because this is not overridden. Now, if that situation comes up, you have an authority or a right to say that I want a person or an advocate along with me. And then comes another case from Bombay High Court which says that advocate can remain present not at the visible but not at audible distance, which is the standard norm which we keep following. This is coming from the Kamlesh Kumar Mishra case. So advocate can stand and see you all the time so that there is no coercion, but he cannot or she cannot hear you what you are speaking during the summons recording. Another important point, many writ petition, but Gale gas case is very relevant, which basically says that no, this is not relevant, this is done. Yes, guys.
देखो मैडम, अब बहुत वक्त ले रहे हो. अब आपका स्टेटमेंट जल्दी दे दो, वरना अब याद रखें हम क्या क्या कर सकते हैं.
अरे सर, आप ऐसे बदतमीजी नहीं कर सकते हैं.
बदतमीजी तो हमने स्टार्ट ही कहाँ की है, और करेंगे भी तो कौन देखने वाला है.
सर, मेरी आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है, प्लीज़ ये स्टेटमेंट आप वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग कर दीजिए.
वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग? फिल्म चल रही है, हम ब्लॉगर्स हैं, यहाँ पे रील बनाने आए हैं. ये सब अलाउड नहीं है मैडम.
Yes, sorry, the Gale cash case is not relevant because 71A has come into picture. That's why we are skipping this. Question: whether any person can request for videography during recording of a statement. Anyone has done it? Yes, sir. Fabulous. I think we need to know if that kind of. So that is a state authority, or rather the authorities requesting for videography. I am saying you as an assessee, if you are going, can you record? Where is that coming from is what we have to see. The again answer comes from the instruction which very clearly says that videography is first two scenarios. One is during the investigation where authorities try to record the sensitive times. For example, if they want to open a cabinet, which probably or rather a safe, that time they will record because they want to ensure that such kind of recordings are available to them and there is no accused space on them. But from your perspective, if you want any coercion to be handled well, if you are already facing it, then you can actually apply. Only thing is, again the case which said that it will be at the cost of the petitioner, not at the cost of the department. But if this scenario is there, trust me, no one will do the video recording, but they know that you have the right, तो dilute हो जाता है at the summon recording space. So we have tried it in such a 1 or 2 scenarios, and it really helped when they said, okay, now we don't want to do all of this, खत्म करते हैं, because honestly investigation आपको रात को 11 भी बजाता है, कभी 3 बजाता है. So all that scenarios can be handled well through this kind of information. Yes.
भरत, वो तिजोरी देख रहा है, बड़ी तिजोरी.
अच्छा, वो वाली?
हाँ.
अरे सर, अंधा पैसा दिख रहा है मुझे.
काम कर, तू जाओ कैश खुलवा, अपना आधा आधा अपने में बांट लेते हैं.
पक्का ना सर? लास्ट टाइम जैसा नहीं ना?
नहीं, इस बार नहीं.
पैसा ही पैसा होगा.
तू जा. मैडम, वो तिजोरी में से सारा कैश लाके हम लोग को दे दो.
अरे आप ऐसे पैसे कैसे लेके जा सकते हैं? वो हमारा कैश इन हैंड है.
अरे ना भी वो कैश इन हमारे हैंड है तो हम लेके जा सकते हैं मैडम. जाओ अब लेके आ जाओ.
Whether cash can be seized by the GST authorities, sir? Anyone? Yes? No? No? Anyone no? Sir, why no, sir? Perfect. Section 67(2) comes into picture. Seizing option is only available to goods. Service seize नहीं कर सकते, वरना वो भी कर देते वो लोग. पर goods seize करना option है. Goods में cash और money नहीं आता. So they have no right whatsoever to take the cash or seize the cash. The only thing that they can do is record it in the Panchnama. And practically we have seen that they may report it to the income tax authorities after recording in the Panchnama. That's where the trigger starts. But as an authority, as a power, it is not available to them.
अरे सर, सुबह से के रात हो गया, अभी भूख लगने लगी है सर, कुछ खिला दो।
अरे ये कंजूस क्लाइंट सूट बूट पहन के बैठे, एक बिस्किट भी नहीं दिया। चल अपन खाते हैं, मस्त पेट पूजा करते हैं, फिर रात भर रेड चलाएंगे अपन।
अरे सर रात का 10:30 बज रहा है, अभी जाने दो ना सर, कल कंटिन्यू करते ना सर।
कल नहीं, आज। अभी तो पार्टी बाकी है, पूरी रात रेड करेंगे अपन।
Can a search interrogation be continued overnight? I don't even want to ask everyone because no one will raise hand. ये तो बहुत खराब हालत है, बोलना ही नहीं है, पर हुआ सबको है. So again, unfortunately, nothing under the law which helps you to say that it cannot be done overnight. But there are so many cases and situations, specifically from the Constitution of India, Article 21, which basically says that you cannot be deprived of your life or personal liberty. So with this backdrop, you can definitely say you cannot be asking me to stay overnight. I'm not even talking about lady officer being there for the lady, CFO, etc. वो सब तो अलग ही है. Second, religious sentiments are completely different space altogether. You can very well say these are my religious requirements. It could be anything under the sun, even if you want to do just a puja or aarti at some place, Siddhivinayak jana mere ko, they cannot be stopping you because that's a religious requirement. I'm sure वो टाइम पे आपको वो सब नहीं करना होगा, पर लॉ में तो बोला गया है. एंड वन यार राहुल जी प्लीज, सर जी एक माइक पहुंचा देना प्लीज. Just the time the mic reaches, in the case of Chief CIT versus State of Bihar, interrogation at 3 AM was stopped. They said this is not making sense. You do it in the morning. आपको सील करना तो सील करके जाइए, बट रात को 3 बजे स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्डिंग मत कीजिए. Frankly, we have seen all these cases. रात को 2:30-3 बजे तक वो बैठाएंगे, then statement recording करेंगे. You can easily say मैं करता हूँ, आपको इधर ही बैठना है, इधर ही सोना है, सब कीजिए. Let me be in my sane mind. Let me have my breakfast. Let me have a fresh perspective. And let me do the summons recording. रात को 3 बजे आप मुझे प्रेशर नहीं दे सकते हो. That is again law. Sir.
I think one blessing in disguise. If the investigation continues beyond 12 in the midnight, and you happen to, give up and pay some taxes, say 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock early in the morning, it can be said that those pressure was exerted by the DGGI. The challan will have a bank transfer time and date.
Correct.
So that would help in your litigation when you go to High Court.
Correct, sir. On coercion, I have next slide.
it's a
आप वो
blessing
टाइम
in
पे
disguise.
एक बार वापस माइक ले लेना सर, मेरा next
Better
slide
to
आ
go
रहा
the
है.
investigation go beyond 12.
Yes. But this is where you are saying you have actually made the payment.
Yeah. When you
Okay, I will hold you there, sir.
सर अभी छोड़ो ना सर, अभी खत्म करो ना सर, बंद
मैटर
कर
क्लोज करना है अभी.
हाँ सर.
तो हम लोग जितना टैक्स बोलते हैं ना, फटाक से भर दो, खत्म करते हैं.
अरे सर बोलो ना आप कितना पेमेंट करना है.
5 करोड़, सॉरी
5
5
करोड़.
करोड़,
6 करोड़,
6 करोड़,
7 करोड़.
7 करोड़. सर थोड़ा कम करो ना सर, इतना थोड़ी ना होता है.
हम तेरे को CGST बड़ा दिल डिस्काउंट देते हैं. तू 4.99 करोड़ पे कर और खत्म कर मैटर.
सर इतना थोड़ी ना होता है. आप मेरे को ग्राउंड्स तो बताओ, क्या ग्राउंड्स पे आप इतना बड़ा लाइबिलिटी रेस कर रहे हो.
ग्राउंड चाहिए अभी आपको. कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स गारंटी पे टैक्स भरा है.
सर कॉर्पोरेट गारंटी का वैल्यू 5 करोड़ नहीं था, आप बोलते इतना बड़ा लाइबिलिटी है उस पे.
अरे सर आप CA ही हो ना, इंटरेस्ट पेनल्टी वगैरह 5 करोड़ हो जाएगा ना सर.
ये बहुत टाइम खोटा कर रहा है. मेरे को नहीं, आप भर दो वरना हम कंटिन्यू करते हैं. आप भरो, कैश भरो, अभी क्या अभी भरो.
नहीं रुको, मैं मेरे कंसल्टेंट से बात करता हूँ.
Can an officer demand payment of tax? What Rahul ji is mentioning, there is an instruction, guys, specifically which says that no recovery should be made during the investigation. Let the investigation, at least on that day, get over. You can make the payment next day in the morning. Even if you want to voluntarily pay, the instruction is very clearly covering that space. Even if you voluntarily pay, if you see Bhumi Associates here, the second point, even if the assessee comes forward to make the voluntary payment for filing DRC 03, the assessee should be advised to file such DRC on the next day after the end of the search proceedings or after officers of the visiting team have left the premises. So that is a level of law backup that we have. No requirement to make the payment that very moment. We have to hold back because unfortunately that's where we land up. निकलने के लिए भाई शगुन नहीं देते, वो शादी करके निकल जाते हैं. तो that's where the problem comes because the demand is erratic and very weird. That's where the problem comes, but we should not do it. Now comes, if you do this problem, then what do we do? Let's say the investigating authorities are really tough to handle, but you have to make the payment. I would only recommend 2 things. One, please make the payment under protest. You have all the right to make the payment under protest. And this is the only place where you can mention that it's a payment under protest. आपका लेटर का कोई फायदा नहीं है because law does not recognize it. DRC 03 में remarks में अगर आप लिख दोगे payment under protest, that will be surviving well in the court of law. By doing this, we have also got a refund from the High Court. And the same point, Rahul ji, which you said, coercion हो गया, prove हो गया, protest payment हुआ है, High Court ने refund दिया हुआ है. दे नोट यस यस पर सर थोड़ा पुश करना पड़ता है वो 3 बजे का 4:30 बज जाता है पर हो जाता है बाद में इफ दैट इज द सिचुएशन वी लैंड अप इन गाइस
तो मैडम हम लोग अभी जा रहे हैं, पेमेंट तो आपने कर दिया है, अभी आपको जो लिस्ट ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट्स ये सर को दिया है आपके, आप वो डॉक्यूमेंट्स कल तक हमारे ऑफिस में सारा ठीक से पहुंचा देना, ठीक है?
हाँ
थैंक यू फॉर कोऑपरेशन, नेशन बिल्डिंग में आपने बहुत मदद की है सर, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सर।
यश जो भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांग रहे हैं ना उनको दे देना टाइम से टाइम पे। और एक गड़बड़ हो गई है यहाँ पे, वो ना स्टेटमेंट ले रहे थे, इतना फोर्स किया ना उन्होंने, तो मैंने बोल दिया कॉर्पोरेट गारंटी पे लायबिलिटी भर देंगे। उसका क्या करना है वो भी आप कंसल्टेंट को पूछ लो, आप सब कंसल्टेंट को ही पूछ लेना, अभी इन्वेस्टिगेशन हो गया है, अब जो होगा हम देख लेंगे, आप कंसल्टेंट से बात कर लो।
मैडम आपने इस डॉक्यूमेंट्स बोल रहे हो, वो डॉक्यूमेंट्स तो पहले वाले रेट में लेके गए, रुको मैं कंसल्टेंट से बात करता हूँ।
When a taxpayer can seek documents seized during the search, yes, 67(5) again comes to the rescue. Instruction also is there. I'm running a little fast because of the bell being on top of my head. But yes, the law and the instruction is very clearly covering that if this situation is that the goods have been or documents have been submitted, you can apply and get the copies of the documents back in front of the officer. And that can be resubmitted, or you can just submit a simple letter to the current officer saying that all these documents are with your friends at these offices, please collect a copy directly from them. What can be done? मैडम ने बोल दिया कॉर्पोरेट गारंटी मैं पे कर दूंगी, बट दैट वाज अंडर प्रेशर, घर पे पहुंचना था, बट वो स्टेटमेंट गलत हो गया. What can be done? Please retract it at the earliest opportunity. Delay in the retracting the statement will not help. After retracting, the case laws are there that retraction will help you, and there is an affidavit which you have to file with the court saying that you have retracted the statement because you don't believe in what you said was correct and you want to reappear or restate whatever you wanted to say. Last thing.
इन्वेस्टिगेशन खत्म हो गया है ना, अब जो
चलो
होगा
चलो
देखा जाएगा।
चलो घर जाते हैं मैडम।
So investigation is not over. The first thing in audit I said FAR. Here also I'm saying whether any closure report is required. The industry norm is closure letter करके कुछ आता नहीं है, but आता है अगर मांगोगे तो. In गुजराती वी से मांग्या विना माँ पर नो पिरोसे. यहाँ पे भी यही है. Till the time instruction in by 1/23 you don't follow, you have to go back, tell them, boss I need it because you are instructed to give me a closure letter. Yes, they will take 1 or 2 or 3 months, fair. But without closure letter, if you get, you will not be using the 62B. Sorry, sir? No, sir. If there is no payment, that means they have agreed to a liability. In fact, that is the closure letter which I would love to see. Pay करके तो closure letter कोई भी ले लेगा, विदा पे के. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes. No, sir. Sir, exactly this case study, if this is the situation, that means in the file note, they have accepted all your submission. वो आपको क्लोजर लेटर में कन्वर्ट होकर आना पड़ेगा कि मैंने ये 5 पॉइंट देखे हैं, देयर इज नो लायबिलिटी व्हाटसएवर, दिस इज एंड ऑफ द लेटर, दिस इज अ ड्राफ्ट लेटर विच इज इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू, जहाँ पे वो बोलते हैं कि क्लोजर आ चुका है. आपको टाइम लगेगा पर ये पक्का मिलना चाहिए बिकॉज दिस विल बी यूज फॉर 62B कि मेरे सेम सब्जेक्ट मैटर में कर चुका है मेरा इन्वेस्टिगेशन. करेक्ट, दैट इज ओनली आफ्टर DRC 03. पेमेंट होने के बाद DRC 04 आपको आ जाएगा. करेक्ट. योर सिनेरियो सर नो पेमेंट ऑफ DRC 03. देन व्हाट डू वी डू? क्लोजर लेटर. They will give, sir, they are mandated. If you see the instruction, any investigation initiated, I will just show you here. Show cause notice should not be delayed after conclusion. The closure report consequent to appropriate payment of the government dues by the government concerned should also not be delayed and should have a brief self-explanatory narration of the issue and the period involved. We have got closure letter, sir, और अगर ऐसा है तो 5 पॉइंट है, उसमें एक छोटा वाला पॉइंट पर पेमेंट भी कर देंगे if your life scenario is this. But closure letter के बिना इन्वेस्टिगेशन कंक्लूड करके ये दोनों की तरह उठ के मत चले जाना. That's where we give a sir practice. That's what I keep saying. This is under the law. My statement, which was highlighting it to you all the time, this is under the law. Obviously, practical scenarios are a little different, but you have to push it hard. अगर अपन इंस्ट्रक्शन ही नहीं बोलेंगे या बोलेंगे नहीं ये है तो पक्का ही नहीं मिलना है उनको आपको. With this, I give a closure letter with this nutshell, and I keep the slide till the time they'll keep the laptop away from me. And thank you all for hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jigar and TMSL team for great insights shared. Thank you once again.